Hi everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. Plenty coming up on the show. As always, Barry Curtin joins me. Baz, how's your week been?
Outstanding.
Outstanding week?
Outstanding week.
This week's been a good week.
No.
We don't want to go past Monday. We want to get back into Saturday, Sunday at all, do we? In any shape or form.
No.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you. I know your passion for footy. Nick Natanui, one of my favourites. I love Nick Natanui. Watched him on the weekend. Fantastic seeing him back from his knee reconstruction. Yeah. I'm watching him with the dreadlocks, and I'm wondering, with all the noise that's being made about head protection, protect the head. Now, Nick Nat goes up for a ruck and flicks his head like that, and one of the dreadlocks flicks around and gets the other ruckman in the eye and he loses his eyesight. Or he blinds him for a quarter or 2 quarters. Is the AFL responsible for that, or is Nick Nat responsible for that?
That's a tough one. That's a tough opener. That one there, for sure.
It's possible. That's what I'm saying. I saw him on a couple of tackles, and guys come on top of him after a tackle. He flicks his head like that and bang. I'm not suggesting for a moment that he has to have his hair cut, but maybe it's got to be tied back. And it just seemed it could become a bit of a dangerous weapon out on the field.
That's quite funny you brought that up. I've never really noticed it, but now you will.
Yeah.
You will look at it. And that's really interesting because I would say that if a guy, gee whiz, who would be responsible there?
Well, if you go back to Rennie suing for the time that he slipped on the plate on the ground, he got to the AFL. But and Nick is the kind of guy, if he did that, he'd be devastated. Make no mistake. But you can see it becoming a freak accident, and they happen in sport.
Well, look at Boucher, the South African keeper who had the bail
embedded
in his
eye.
It can happen. No problem at all.
So then, I
think it was going to happen.
All right. So if we extend it past footy and we go to netball, I'm watching the girls with the long hair, the ponytail or the plaits. They flick it around, it flies around. Is it time for sport to just have a look and say, we're worried about fingernails, we're worried about this. Gee whiz, maybe we need to have a look at the different hairstyles that are in sport now.
Is this a hair thing, Phil?
I knew it was risky for me to bring it up. I'm aware of that. Well, you and I have had ours cut specifically to avoid causing injury. Yeah.
Exactly right, mate.
All right, we'll get off that. Benny Simmons. All right, Benny Simmons is about to sign what will become the richest deal ever for an Australian athlete if he takes it up. Philadelphia have popped the contract in front of him, $168 million US, that's 240 million Australian dollars for 5 years. But wait, there's some bonuses in there as well.
Oh, no.
If he was to make the NBA All-Star team next year, he'll get an $8 million bonus for that one. So that'll make him a nice tidy 248, let's call it 250 mil. For 5 years, so it's just amazing, isn't it? And he's a ripping kid. They're a great family, and all credit to him. Mum and Dad battled. It wasn't always easy. Dave came out here to play with the Melbourne Tigers and was a terrific player. And Mum and Dad battled for quite a while, to survive in Australia. And now they've gone from, he lives down the road. Ben's got a house for his mum and dad just down the road from where he lives. But now to go from that to that, it's just a great story.
That's an amazing story. While we're on Ben Simmons, and that's great news for him. He is a good player. Let's face it, otherwise you're not going to be getting...
Not getting 168 US million, no.
Oh, mate, that's unbelievable. Is he going to suit up for the Boomers?
Yes, he is. He said he wants to. He'll be here, which would be great. They're here playing in August, of course, a game in Melbourne, game in Sydney. Really good. We're talent loaded. They've all made themselves available. In fact, the problem is that you probably can't pick them all. Because what happens a little bit, and it'll be a tough one for Andre and Luke and the selectors, that normally when you go to the Olympic Games or World Championships, 9 of the 12 players selected get to play a fair bit of basketball. Then 10, 11 and 12 have always been those specific. A good defender or a great rebounder or a great scorer have filled that 10, 11, 12. But now we've got this superstar lineup. The problem is if Andre picks them and doesn't play them, it's not so much that they'd affect the team. That could possibly happen. But their manager would be saying, it's not really good for me to go in and negotiate your contract with Boston or Detroit or Philadelphia. If they go to the World Championships and go, well, mate, you haven't played for 3 games. I don't know that you're worth that much. So I read there's a fine balance as they get past number 8 and 9 to say, might be best for you to make yourself unavailable as opposed to me dropping you, because that doesn't look good either. So perhaps you could say, look, I've decided to withdraw and go back and work on the game with the NBA team I'm with. I think that may be a possibility, which is the first time in the history of our game, basketball, you'd be going, we've got too many good players to pick.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because we've always thought that we've got a lot of good players, but then there's a few lurking around the...
We are in the magic purple patch right now. Now is the time to strike. We are in the gun.
And really, it's not out of the question that we could sit on a podium.
Not without question. We'll get a bit of an insight into this team that's coming out. The USA team that's coming out is the team that's going to compete at the World Championship. So they're not coming out and then sending this team home and suddenly they're going to put LeBron and 3 or 4 other players in. This is the real deal.
Be the team, yeah.
So we get a chance to have a look.
Have a good look at them. And a good look at us.
And a real good look to see where we are as well. Wow, so it'll be interesting. Wow. Hey, just before we get started, the Australian women's form for the Ashes series. You know, in the men, it's the Ashes, it's the Test.
We're the best team in the world.
Exactly right. The women play 3 one-day matches.
Yeah.
Then they play 1 Test. Then they play 3 2020s. Yeah. That's their Ashes series. Do you like that format?
I do like that format.
I reckon it's fantastic.
I do like the format.
Yeah.
And I liked it when they first brought it out, that format. I thought, wow, that's interesting because it's not only a battle of Test matches now, you have to play all forms to win the Ashes.
Get across the skill.
The one-day and the T20 to win the Ashes. So really they're playing all forms of cricket, not just...
The beautiful Test. Yep, I know, you like that. Hey. All right, we need to get the motors going. We need to get started. Time to get over to Bridget for all the news. Bridget?
Thanks, boys. I'm Bridget, and here's this week's sporting news. SA footy had a rough round with both the Crows and the Power suffering losses. The Cats were simply too good for the Crows in Geelong, running out 27-point winners off the back of a massive game by Tim Kelly. Matt Crouch and Rory Sloane were both brilliant with 30 touches each, but couldn't knock off the ladder leaders. Port Adelaide had one of their most disappointing games of the season, getting outclassed by the Bulldogs in the wet. Hamish Hartlett was a rock in defence while Travis Boak continued his stellar form, but the Power were simply second best all night. In the Sandful, Tom Rockcliffe posted a massive 57 touches and 14 clearances, and will be looking to carry that form in the senior side this week. The second showdown of the year will be played tomorrow afternoon in what's shaping up to be an important contest for both sides. South Australia has suffered a heartbreak in the AFL Under-18 Championships in Geelong. The reigning champions were downed by a goal on the siren by Vic Country's Brodie Kemp. SA's best were captain Tim Gold and midfielder Harry Schoenberg, who racked up 32 disposals. All players will be looking to impress as the draft prospects begin to emerge. There were some big scores in round 13 of the Hockey Premier League as Seacliff continued to rule in both the men's and women's. Both sides kept Grange scoreless, with the men piling on 10 goals and the women scoring 3. Port Adelaide Hockey Club also had an impressive showing. The men's and women's teams defeated Burnside to continue their strong competition presence. Both sides will be looking to continue their stellar form when round 14 kicks off on Sunday. In ice hockey, Adelaide Adrenaline have once again struggled over the weekend, falling to the Perth Thunder. The Thunder ran away with it in the third period to claim a 5-2 victory, adding to Adrenaline's tough run this season. Alice Kratoska and Steve Best were Adelaide's strongest, getting themselves on the scoreboard and keeping their side in it. The Adrenaline will get their chance at revenge when they once again take on the Thunder this week here in Adelaide. To golf now, and both the Simpson and Sanderson Cups have reached finals. In the men's Simpson Cup, both Glenelg and the Grange finished round 7 strong and have cemented themselves in the finals hunt. Glenelg will battle with the Southern, while the Grange will take on Kionga at Glenelg Golf Club this Sunday. To the women's Sanderson Cup, the Grange are looking like strong favourites, heading into finals after remaining undefeated. Also played at Glenelg Golf Club, it'll be the Grange and Royal Adelaide, while Kionga will be looking to snatch a win away from Glenelg. The South Australian Racehorse Owners Association is putting on another event for the public to enjoy. The annual race day will be held at Morphettville Racecourse on July 20, where attendees will enjoy a gourmet barbecue in the chairman's room. This is a great chance to get amongst horse racing season or just to enjoy a nice day out. Details can be found on SAROA's website. That's all for tonight.